Hi, my name is Christian Morency. I am 35 years old, and this is my testimony for baptism. I think if you had asked me my religion when I was in my early 20s or throughout most of my young adulthood, I would have told you that I identified as an agnostic theist. But looking back, I'm not really sure I even knew at the age of 20 what that truly meant. It sounded cerebral and mysterious and interesting, so that's what I told people. Most of my life has been marked by an undercurrent of anxiety. And because of that, I've very much found my life defined by the what ifs and maybes of things that had happened, or what could have happened, or what would happen, or what could never happen. Not knowing how to face my anxiety, I chose to do what I feel most young people in our society do when they're faced with fear or don't know how to deal with the unknown. I chose to speed up. I focused on this path of perfectionism and distraction, and I poured all my energies and efforts into trying to be the most successful member of secular society that I could be. And then I was forced to slow down. The pandemic came, and that's when the anxious thought patterns really started to ramp up. So the combination of extra time to ruminate on the past and worry about the future mixed with this mini existential crisis truly led me to a point of unrelenting anxiety that was worse than anything I'd ever experienced in my life. And for the first time in my life, I felt like I was incapable of managing it on my own. Very much to the surprise of myself, and even more so my wife, as I told her at points that I never really felt like I needed or wanted a relationship with God. I broke down to the point of desperation, to the point where I found myself in a parking lot of a Calvary Chapel in Sewell early one morning as the sun came up, just truly desperate for a sense of peace and meaning. And even more surprising to myself, I actually ended up walking in by myself and attending a church service. And when I looked around, I saw people experiencing God in a way that I never saw before. People looked happy to be there. There was this sense of community. And what I saw was people from all walks of life truly coming together to worship. So when I came home and told my wife that I had went, she, on top of being extremely surprised and very happy about this, we decided we would seek out a new church. So a few weeks later, we came and we ended up in the parking lot of FCC here. And a few months after I started attending FCC with my family, as I drifted off to sleep one night with anxious thoughts running through my head like they typically do, I was delivered this word, accept, with a supernatural clarity that I had never experienced before in my life. It was a voice that up to that point I had never heard, and to be honest, I've really only heard that clearly one other time in my life to this point. And it took me about a year to truly understand the meaning of the word accept, or what God wanted me to do with that. I was trying to figure out, did he want me to accept my past, to accept that my form of anxiety is the cross that I bear? Did he want me to accept the unknowns of the future? And although I think that was a large part of it, what I truly came to figure out was what God wanted me to accept was that Jesus was his one and only Son, who is the Lord and Savior of my life. And ever since that day, through that relationship with Jesus, I've been able to really develop this relationship with God that's become so meaningful to me on a level that I didn't know was possible. I went from someone who questioned the very existence to God to someone who is unshaken in their belief that God is here and present and at work in our lives. As I prepared for this testimony, the same biblical verse kept coming back to me, which was Isaiah 43:2, which states that, "When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and through the rivers, they shall not overwhelm you. When you walk through fire, you shall not be burned, and the flame shall not consume you, for I am the Lord your God." And this is truly what I've felt as I've begun to walk my life as a Christian, which is God is here for me, and he is the supernatural peace within the storm.